The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
All right, good morning and welcome. Give me 2 seconds, folks. Got some things happening. All righty, here we go. It's Friday, the 4th day of February 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical Wells One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Welcome back, Burp. I mean, Happy New Year. We haven't seen you since what, like last year sometime, innit? Your volume's really low. Gotta turn yourself up.
All right, it's been a while, but I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Something tells me the audience chased you away. It got a bit too. The kitchen was too hot for you or something. So you said, "Let me give these people a break." But it's good to have you back. We have some interesting conversation today, and yeah, folks, I'm gonna do something. Give me 2 seconds. Um, I want to just say, you know, the hardest part about doing this show sometimes is reality. Reality strikes, and when reality does strike, it sometimes isn't favorable in terms of good times or good news. And I just want to send nothing but love, comfort, and strength to one of our most loyal viewers, our day one viewer, our day one um, supporter of this show, Shawnette Bell, on the loss of her husband. So, just as a community, the Daily Hour community, as James Birch has called us, we just want to extend love, comfort, and peace to her. I know words sometimes aren't enough, but if there's anything we can do as the Daily Hour community, the greater community in Bermuda, is just send love, share love during this time to, again, a loyal supporter from day one, Shawnette Bell, on the loss of her husband. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as we welcome Ajani Tucker from the Bermuda Football Association on about media rights for local football. The daily play, we're going to do some feud with Larry today. Some easy feud. All I'm going to say is, as a newlywed, be careful how you answer the questions. That's all I'll say.
Oh yeah, it don't matter.
Okay. All right. He's good, folks. He's good. So look, we have a conversation to have. Just bring your volume up a little because it's coming through much low compared to what we were before this show. But just bring your level up because we want to make sure that the haters in the audience can hear you. I'm not calling anyone a hater, Sherry, but anyone in particular. But we want to make sure that we're having a conversation about something that impacts all of us, regardless if you're black or not. But especially in Bermuda. So the question of the morning, and I'll give some context, is: do you believe affirmative action is helpful and necessary, or something that's needed? Like, do you think it's helpful or something that's needed or necessary? And for those of you who don't know what affirmative action is, affirmative action, based in the United States, refers to a set of policies and practices within a government or organization seeking to include particular groups based on their gender, race, sexuality, creed, or nationality. So an example of affirmative action could be that President Joe Biden has said that he's going to appoint a black woman to the Supreme Court, I believe. Then there's the Rooney Rule in the NFL, right? And you see that the NFL is, they gave you a halftime show to make you forget about everything. And then out of the blue, Brian Flores, the former coach of the Miami Dolphins, is now suing the NFL and some NFL teams claiming bias in hiring. Well, the Rooney Rule, for those of you who don't know, it's a rule that's been in effect for about 20 years, probably now, if that. But it requires teams to interview ethnic minority candidates for head coaching and senior positions in the league. But my question really reflects in a Bermuda context. In a Bermuda context, do you believe that these laws or policies are necessary for us, for Black people, for other minority groups, for women, right, to have opportunities in spaces? Do you believe that they're necessary?
Well, when I first heard about this, it was when I went to college, and you heard a lot about um, affirmative action. And for me, being an athlete, it was Title IX, which gives women's rights to athletic scholarships.
Mhm.
And a lot of those things did pertain and were important to me when I was abroad overseas. And if you're working overseas, you get that. But
Mhm.
it's very interesting in putting it into Bermuda context. I think it's definitely a level of bias. I don't know if necessarily we need to make laws, because I think part of the issue that the US has is that a lot of these things just check boxes rather than really get
Correct.
the root cause of the issues.
Correct. And I think that's my concern as well. Audience, chime in if you may. But I think that's one of my concerns is I feel like you're checking boxes at the end of the day. When you look at Joe Biden out of the blue saying that he's going to appoint a Black woman, I feel like, okay, one, is this going to be the best Black woman for the job, or is it just going to be ticking that box? What happens when you begin to tick boxes, it becomes tokenism. And tokenism has never really benefited the overall cause, because what you do is you put people that are going to maintain what already is, but simply just put a face or a color to it.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what you were saying, you mentioned the Brian Flores situation. He interviewed after being fired from the Miami Dolphins, which was a huge surprise because he had back-to-back winning seasons. And you know, he got a text from Bill Belichick from the New England Patriots congratulating him,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Do you know something? I'm not even interviewed that yet." So he made a mistake and text the wrong person to say, and he's going to a job, and now he knows that the job's already been given. So why is he going there? And it was clearly to just check the box to say I interviewed
Correct.
a Black candidate.
Correct. And to me, a rule like that doesn't help. It doesn't address the overall problem. In a Bermuda context, I would love to hear from the audience. What's the situation in Bermuda? Because you look at Bermuda, we may think, well, there's not a case. When you look around, you see the head of this is a Black Bermudian, the head of that. But then when you look into private organizations in Bermuda, are the does the board reflect what Bermudians look like? Does the C-suite reflect what the majority of Bermudians look like? I'm going to use the Bermuda Tourism Authority as an example, right? That board didn't reflect when it originally started what the Black, majority Bermudians look like. It didn't. If I can remember correctly, Paul Telford was the only Black Bermudian on there. I think they had the magazine guy on there as well from Black Enterprise, but he's not a Black Bermudian. So everyone else was either was non-Black Bermudian, right?
Yeah.
So that right there, a quasi-government organization was an opportunity for them to create opportunities for Black Bermudians in those spaces, and it didn't happen. Another example would then move on to, and I'm only using the example I know, folks. So it's not that this is not, there's not other organizations this happens is, but I know this example. Then when you move to the C-suite of the Bermuda Tourism Authority, and I'm talking about way back in 2014, 2015 when it began, it's the same thing. Where the Black Bermudians in those opportunities? It's easy to say Black Bermudians don't have the experience or they don't, there's a lack of talent, this and that. But the truth is, that's just not true.
Yeah. and
That's just
and
not true. Go ahead.
and to throw it in a little sports way, we often have talked about the funding within the sporting way. If you're not in a team sport and getting funding through the national sport and governing body that you're a part of, it's not happening. And as an individualist in sport to trying to make it, it's much more harder to get funding. You get questioned, and it's almost like, hey, you have to mortgage your people's house to make it. And you see others, you have these conversations, and it's they easily get the funding.
Yeah, yeah. Folks, question of the morning. Do you believe affirmative action is helpful and necessary in Bermuda? Sam Cat Place says, Bermuda being small may need something like this, as too often we see people benefiting as part of the friends and family club. Larry said it, checking boxes only just because organizations have to. Well, again, thank you for that comment, because in a Bermuda context, it may not be just based on race.
Yes, it's nepotism more so than anything.
Yeah. So that's a good point. The friends and family isn't just necessarily saying, oh, because this person's black. But again, I feel like because of nepotism, as you just mentioned, this is a conversation Bermudians need to have. I see people complaining about not getting opportunities all the time when it comes to maybe government contracts. It happens. Michelle White says there should be an intentional way of recruiting for businesses in any area or country. In Bermuda context, no, C-suite does not reflect Bermuda. However, we must look at the positions below C-suite. I disagree. I disagree with that vehemently, because at the end of the day, this is like the guy, Bill Henberry. He would champion, 90-something% of the positions in the BTA are Bermudian, but they're not the decision-making positions.
Yep.
No, that is the wrong way to look at it. The wrong way to look at it, because what you're saying is, oh no, Bermudians are good enough, just not good enough to make the decisions. No, I highly disagree with that, Michelle White. Sheikh Arena says, in some companies, the selection process can't begin until there's a certain percentage of minority applicants. This causes managers to encourage applicants just to get the process started. Can be disingenuous. And that's what I find about the process. And I think that's what you were touching on, Larry.
Yeah, I think we've all been in, whether it's been scholarship interviews, job interviews, and gone and seen, and when you've put a solid effort in, when you're probably like, I need to do better, and then there's other times where you're just like, it seemed like it was against me before I even started. And I think, is it a solution that we have the answer to? I'm not saying we do, but like you said, these conversations need to happen, because right now it just seems like it's a bit of, let's check these box, and we're hopeful that the best person comes from it, instead of targeting the best person for it.
Well, there you go. And I know in some companies, they're more targeted and intentional now, to use the word Michelle White chose. Like, if you know that, for instance, you want to, let's say you have an organization and your products, you're trying to market them towards a certain demographic, and you want someone who may have a great understanding of that, then you're probably going to get it. Let's use an example. Yesterday, there's Black History Month being celebrated in the United States. And I keep telling people, I think it's become so commercialized by those who aren't Black. And there's a company that has Black History Month shirts, and they have white people up in these shirts marketing them. And I find it funny. Because to me, this is what happens when, we're not in control, when we're the employee, when we're on the lower level. This is the kind of stuff that happens when you don't have Black people in the room to help you make, those decisions, when we're not the decision makers.
Yeah, I agree. And I hate to keep using the term. It's just, it checks the boxes, and it makes it, it's, we often talk, you and I, sometimes, where it's easy to get behind Black History Month because the masses for it. But at the end of the day, how are you enacting real beneficial change that's really about something? And sometimes you got to be get your hands dirty. You're gonna offend some people that you're close to, some people that you're comfortable with, and you may not like that feeling. Sometimes uncomfortable situations need to happen to enact change, and I don't know if that is what these companies want. They just want it. Hey, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. Yes, we support you in this, we support you in this, and now everything's good. So when they can put out, and hey, we our race record is good.
Yeah, I think and you make a lot of points. I just feel like the Rooney Rule, affirmative action, doesn't change the overall problem. I think, as you stated, I feel like it ticks boxes, but it doesn't change anything. Let's use American Airlines. American Airlines, they they have their logo up as their picture on social media, but then they have African art around their logo. It's shameful, and I'm just like, who was in the room to say that this was a good idea to celebrate Black History Month?
Yeah.
And so I said to someone in private chat last night, I said, okay, this is their contribution. And they obviously, people are saying, oh, they do a lot in the Black community. So I said, well, let's take a look at their board. What do you think their board looks like? Then I said, well, let's look at their C-suite. No pictures. My solution, folks, and a lot of people probably disagree and would disagree because my solution doesn't fit within societal norms. But my solution is what we're doing this morning. You know, one of the things that bothers me about social media in particular is that everyone has a voice and opinion.
Yes.
Everyone does. And I'm going to tell you why it bothers me. I can appreciate everyone has their own opinion and perspective. But I love those who take those opinions and those voices and turn them into some form of action. What do I mean by that? I have a problem with mainstream media. We present to you the Daily Hour.
Yeah. And I think we get to a thing and it's like, okay, are we solution oriented? And it's a very tough thing. I have said it. I don't think we have the answer right now. And I actually think things like affirmative action and the Rooney Rule, Title IX, probably have to stay in place until we come up with something better. Because if we get rid of them, then we go back to the days of, oh, you're just not good enough and it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, this just isn't good enough, and we have to recognize it and make the change for better.
Yeah, and I think I would agree. I wouldn't say get rid of them, but what I would say is, folks, and this is hard, because no one wants to start from the bottom or ground up. No one wants to get their hands dirty, as you mentioned, right? It may take getting your hands dirty, but the truth is, Colin Kaepernick, Brian Flores, Jay-Z,
Yep.
right? Guess what? Go start your own league.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to make tons of money like the NFL, at least not right now.
Yeah.
But is it about money, or is it doing something you love that gives you the ability to make a living?
Yeah. And it's interesting because we talked about Brian Flores, and him coming out and doing the NFL is a big thing, because at the end of the day, he probably has ruined his career as an NFL coach.
Indeed.
They may do it again to check a box or whatnot, but the moment he will not be given any leeway or anything. So, I hope it goes well for him. But at the end of the day, this isn't his field. This is a certain club that we are just not invited to.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a Bermuda context, there are many Bermudians who feel like they've been blackballed out of business opportunities by governments, some of them on social media very often, right? Not because of anything else, but they're not a part, as someone mentioned earlier, the friends and family plan, right? And his risk to what Larry's saying about Brian Flores ruined his opportunity. I'm going to say it. Larry probably won't say it publicly. I'll say it. There's probably a reason Larry never went away to get his master's degree, because he took on something on behalf of Bermudians.
Yeah.
I'm just being real here. So when I tweeted yesterday, the truth is, if we do want real systemic change, we're going to have to take risk.
Yeah.
But the truth is, most of us aren't willing to take those risks.
Yeah. We want it to be easy. And enacting change, I found out the hard way, it does not. It takes time. It takes years. It can be lonely. You can all the naysayers and all those different types of things. But at the end of the day, when you reflect back, you can be proud. I often reflect back and I'm frustrated and get angry. But I think as time goes on, those feelings kind of dissipate.
Indeed. Let's go to the comments. Karen Simmons says National Swimming Association, BASA, Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association, had 2 Bermudian women on their board to check the box, but were not able to make impact being outvoted. What was the situation? But thank you for that, Karen. Interesting. Michelle White says, heck no, not meant that. In intentional recruitment, a candidate should hired and promoted with intention of growing the person we get in, but not up. This must be an intentional process. Agreed, Michelle. Definitely, for sure. James Burt says, affirmative action may be a good tool in the short term while or if systemic change is happening. But if most don't want real systemic change, then what? And this is a good point, James. And that's the purpose. Like, what is the point of these things if it's not leading to long-term sustainable change that benefits the people who are currently benefiting from the policy or law?
But is it wanted within these big clubs? Is it wanted with the decision makers? Do they really want change, or is it something just to, again, pass off as, we done this? I don't think a lot want it.
Well, in the NFL context, let's be honest. Most of the owners are old white men.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be clear. I hope I'm wrong. I cannot see an owner like Jerry Jones ever hiring a black coach. I can't see it. A black head coach?
I can see it in the sense of if he will be able to control them. But if it's beneficial to him, it will always be beneficial to the organization and whatnot. I don't necessarily think that they feel that they need that, because the Dallas Cowboys is such a big organization. It's not needed, so it probably won't happen.
Yep, big organization that just can't win the big one. Let's bring in Leanna. That's Larry's division rival. Let's bring in Leanna. We have a very important conversation coming up with Ajani Tucker. Bermuda football is about to go some level, folks. So you want to be a part of this conversation. Good morning, Lee. How are you, sister?
Good morning, guys. I am great this morning. Woke up a little on the late side, but it's okay. We're here. We're ready to get on.
She sounded like she was partying there. She's partying last night.
She just needs to sort it out, man.
It must be partying with this dog that's upstairs that continues to disturb my rest. But you know what? I'm not gonna go there. It's Friday and everything's good.
She got a dog and don't want to admit it's hers. Lee, I just want to say something to you. You are not a part of this show for any sort of affirmative action. You are here because you are the best at what you do.
Why, thank you.
Yeah,
right. Did you dishing out compliments on a Friday?
Sherry would be proud, wouldn't she?
She would be so proud.
She better give me a hug in the audience. Anyway, Lee, let's get over to the news break, and we will be back after that, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks, Jamal and Larry and TGIF, to all of those who are tuned in with us today. We hope everyone is having a great start to their morning. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. In today's top stories, police have launched a murder investigation in the wake of an off-duty prison officer who sadly died after he tried to break up a fight between 2 men on Wednesday afternoon. Now, 49-year-old Damon Bell from Hamilton Parish is said to have stepped in to break up a brawl near Shelley Bay Field at about 4:30 p.m. But Mr. Bell suffered head injuries as he tried to act as a peacemaker. He was rushed to the hospital by ambulance, but sadly succumbed to his injuries a short while later. Now, a 46-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the incident. Renee Ming, the Minister for National Security, condemned the tragic incident and urged any witnesses or people with information to say something if you know something. Police asked for those persons to contact Acting Sergeant Seymour Foote of the Criminal Investigations Unit on 247-1744 or the Confidential Crime Stoppers Hotline. In other news, COVID 19 has sadly claimed another life, bringing the island's death toll to 118 since the pandemic hit almost 2 years ago. Now, health officials made the announcement last night while also saying that there were 128 new cases logged out of the 4,169 test results that came back. Now, the figure for active cases, however, continues to drop as there are now 471 infections, which is the lowest number since 437 were recorded last Christmas Day. Now, the island has a positivity rate of 3.1%. There are 18 people in hospital, with 3 in the intensive care. Minister of Health Kim Wilson reminded the public that first, second, and booster doses will continue to be available at Pier 6 until March 31st, either by appointment or for walk ins. Now, after this date, health officials say that they are working to have the COVID 19 vaccine available through physicians' offices as well as participating pharmacies. Meanwhile, some immediate changes to Safe Key are set to be announced today by Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport, Dr. Ernest Pete. Now, the government has repeatedly mentioned trying to learn to live with COVID, with most people projecting that COVID will be around for some time to come. Now, the schedule for today's sitting of Parliament lists include a statement due to be delivered by Health Minister entitled Living with COVID, the Public Health Emergency. And activist group Social Justice of Bermuda is speaking out after Saltus Grammar School was heavily criticized this week for language used in a lesson, with messages circulating that alleged the school may have asked some students about the better parts of slavery. Now, the group has stated that, quote, the horrors of slavery and segregation must not be whitewashed, and added that no assignment should suggest that any positive aspects resulted from the humanizing, brutalizing, and traumatizing of enslaved peoples, end quote. Saltus head of school, Darren Lavelle, issued another statement yesterday, noting that they are, quote, painfully aware of Saltus's legacy of white privilege and institutionalized racism, and said that their board and their faculty and staff are steadfast in their commitment to establish an environment at Saltus that is genuinely welcoming, inclusive, and fair. Now, this, they say, is their responsibility as educators, and they take it seriously for the well being of their students and the Bermuda community, end quote. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 70 and a low near 63 degrees. It will be a cloudy start to the day, but sunny spells will soon develop toward the afternoon. Now, sometimes cloudy weather continues into the weekend under a strong ridge of high pressure. A weak cold front then moves in later on Saturday, introducing breezy conditions with some patchy rain and showers. That's all for our daily hour news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. But before we go, we want to leave you with a few helpful tips from your favorite community pharmacist for the weekend. Now, try the following healthy options: be active with friends and family, snack wisely, balance meals with protein, watch your portion sizes, limit your dessert and liquid calories, water, water, water as your beverage of choice. Your weight management doesn't have to boom or bust. Small changes, healthier choices, and you will see a difference with time. Now let's head back to Jamal and Larry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
All right, thanks so much for that, Lee. And just once again, I just want to send a big shout out, love, comfort, peace to. She's been a day one supporter of the Daily Hour. Shawnette Bell, you have our sincere, on behalf of the Daily Hour community, you have our sincere condolences, and please know that we are here to support you as much as we can. Today is sooner or later, it's World Cancer Day today. So sooner or later, it seems cancer has an impact on us all. That's why World Cancer Day on February 4th is an important day to raise awareness about prevention, detection, and treatment. Started by the Union for International Cancer Control in 2008, World Cancer Day activities seek to significantly reduce illness and death caused by cancer by 2020, which was 2 years ago. World Cancer Day is observed worldwide on February 4th. The aim is to inform and encourage people on its prevention, early detection, and treatment. The initiative was taken by the Union for International Cancer Control to campaign and advocate for targets of the World Cancer Declaration penned in 2008. So it is World Cancer Day, folks. If you know someone, show them love. If you've lost someone, remember them. And hey, make sure you get checked. Prevention helps. Lee,
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. Enjoy your
Most
weekend.
welcome. And will you guys be tuning in? I mean, today is the first day of the Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. So,
You know what?
it all kicks off. I mean, some of the athletes have already kicked in with their yeah.
Do, do they
There we
play?
go.
Do they play basketball on ice?
No.
I
Wow.
get into the downhill and the speed skating, and then of course cross country skiing.
Yes.
I'll watch that. I'll watch that. Just let me know when it's on.
Sure.
Do they have? No, seriously, serious question. Do they have the mobile racing on? I don't know what they have in the Winter Olympics anymore. I haven't seen
No,
it since.
you're confusing the X Games with the Olympics.
Yeah, Mal,
Okay.
go look at a roster and see what actually takes place.
All
What?
I'm gonna stick to what I love. We'll
That
talk
is out of
football.
the Leicester, but we're there.
Yeah.
On a Friday, Larry.
Enjoy your weekend with your dog, Lee. Goodbye.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break and we'll be back after this.
Are you a small business or organization looking for new ways to reach a greater audience? Well, here's your chance to get your ad on BTG Radio, Good Day Bermuda, and Bermuda's daily talk show, The Daily Hour. Send an email to contact@bermudacommunications.com.
We're featuring a true frequent flyer this month, Bragg Live Food Products. Paul Bragg was the man behind the products, and during his lifetime originated health food stores and promoted nutrition education throughout the media, helping us make healthful choices when we shop for and prepare food. Best known for his live cider vinegar, Bragg also brings us a variety of super nutritious and flavorful foods and condiments. Try the star product that helped launch the entire enterprise, Bragg Raw Unfiltered Apple Cider Vinegar. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's Larry Marshall Jr. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Ajani Tucker from the Bermuda Football Association, and they are making moves, folks. Good morning, Ajani. How are you? Hello.
Hello. Morning.
Hey.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good, man. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for coming on. Let's get right to the conversation because this is actually interesting. For years, we've seen. I shared something on Twitter late last year, back up at PHC Stadium, and you had at least 1,000 people at this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, probably the last 20 years, you'd be like, you probably won't even get that many people at a major final nowadays of the crowd you used to see back then. So people have been trying to figure out, the BFA, what moves are they making to get people back out to games? And then you've got people since the pandemic saying, look, we need to get online. We need access to see footage and so on. But the Bermuda Football Association, for those who don't know, have released a media rights request for proposal form, right? What is in this document? Just speak to us. Let us know what this means.
So this request form or media rights policy that we have, it's basically our structure of the media rights that we are selling or sending to media production companies, outlets that want to broadcast or stream the games. So it's just an outline document that says, what it entails and what you can and can't do in regards to filming matches, or how you can film your matches and broadcast them on your channels, or et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, and just for those, I mean, why is now the right time for the BFA to actually do this? What, like, for rights for local football? Why now?
So basically, what had happened was I've been there for the last year and a half, and in that year and a half, we've had multiple parties, multiple outlets come to us and say, we want to stream, we want to broadcast, which is great. We love that idea. We wanted to do that. We've been wanting to do that for a while. So we've been listening to offers, but we didn't have that structure. And so this is that structure that's going to help, which is what we wanted, which is key to the streaming, is how it's going to benefit all the clubs. And so the sale of media rights to an outlet will benefit the clubs, because this money generated, or any revenue generated, will go to the clubs and benefit the clubs, as it will be a new stream, revenue stream.
And that was my next question. How are the clubs and players in particular going to benefit from media rights? Now, you mentioned the clubs. Will this make up for lower ticket revenue? Is it in place to say, is it going to be every game every week, or right now I know it's a game of the week? How would it work in terms of which game if it's not every game?
So right now we're doing right now we're streaming ourselves. We're streaming on YouTube. We're trying to get at least a match a week. Right now, this is we're preparing. We're taking in a lot of data. We're using the analytics to see how many average viewers we have right now. So this is data that we can take forward and present to say to sponsor possibilities, and say we have this many viewers per week, we have this many returning viewers, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, gotcha. If you have any questions or comments for Ajani about this big move, this is a huge move for Bermuda, please feel free to shoot, and we'll do our best to get the questions and comments there for you.
One thing that stuck out to me, Ajani, was it included youth football games. Which, I reached out to a few parents, a couple of people within the media, and it's a thought out there, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Is, does this seem like the BFA is trying to profit off of youth football?
Okay, no, that's a good question. So when we discussed what we wanted to do, we always said that we wanted to have the youth games available free. Okay. So if we had, for example, a platform that, like a website that streamed live matches, youth matches would be one of the matches that would be available free.
Okay, so a follow-up question: how does that now? My son is, let's just say, 12 years old. I don't have a 12-year-old son, by the way, but he wants video footage for Watford, who's looking for him. How does that process change? Can anyone come to the game, or is it still going through the rights of these certain companies?
Okay. So what we did, that's a good question. So what we did for that is we have different tiers of the rights. So at the top, we would have the broadcast rights, which is, streaming. And then below that, we'll have like rights such as image rights, which we do not charge for image rights. We just ask, photographers or media outlets to say, oh, we want to come to the match to take pictures. And we say, okay, we'll issue a media card so you can get into the matches and take your pictures. And then for the filming, it's what we call technical rights, which we do not charge at all either. So this would be for players or teams that want their matches filmed for coaching purposes and for, like you said, purposes for highlights for scouts. So filmers, videographers that people want to film, they'll say, oh, I'm filming technical video for this player or for this team. And also I'll issue a media card that says, you're the videographer for this team.
Okay. So, this is something new. What's the feedback been like by certain companies, or, is it anybody that's looking to jump? If it's a lot of interest?
We have been talking to a few media production companies in the last year, back and forth to negotiate, anything for the future. But as of right now, so the YouTube streams that we're doing, that's from us. Yes.
Okay.
So we're trying at this point, we're still trying to create the product that is the live football match. We're trying to show that product can be made and people want to watch it. And then from the numbers and the data we have, we value that product and we'll say, okay, this is how much this product is.
Okay. So it's still in the early stages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. With games, if you get to that product, when we get to that level of quality and technology with audiences, can we expect more technology to be introduced within the local game? Examples are like VAR or one of those types of situations.
So yeah, every stream currently, per week, we're looking what's a way we can get better. From the first stream we did last year. Introducing, graphics overlays now, and then we're looking to, have an extra camera on so you can switch an angle and, use commentators in the future. We're trying to, so every stream we're trying to, and replays, that's another big one.
Okay.
Yeah. So every stream, we're looking for little ways to make it better and better and show that we can do a good production product.
Okay. We've got a lot of questions from the audience. Let's go to Sean Smith is asking, what implications does or could have on club's logo, trademark, and or copyright? Can someone take images / video off the internet to use for their purpose?
Interesting.
So a document we send to clubs as well as for this. So we have a club's media agreement that says for anyone that comes to us to have the broadcast rights, stream rights, any rights, we say to the clubs, do we have your permission? They signed permission to use your club logo, club name, and players on their broadcast and stream.
Okay. Another question coming in. Go ahead, Bert. Sorry.
So has there been any pushback from the clubs? I know sometimes with both football and cricket, it's very difficult to navigate because you have the involvement of the clubs, which sometimes work as workmen's clubs too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we've been meeting with the clubs for the last year as well. We've been saying, what we want to do is we want to create this product and we want this product to benefit everyone. And the best way that this product can benefit everyone, if everyone's on board. So, we've been in constant communication with these clubs, with all the member clubs and bringing them all on board. So it is one product and we are all reaching for that same goal.
Nice.
That's good. You got them on your side. Monica Dunstan's asking, where can we find more information about the tiers? I would like to pass it on to a gentleman who has been filming, not streaming, for years, and was recently told he wasn't allowed to film anymore.
Okay. Yes. So that I sent the information out to all the BFA media contacts. So if you do have any questions, you can email me. That would be atucker@bermudafootball.com, and I can send you that information.
Okay. We have the questions are coming. Renee Sherilyn Sim is asking, does this mean games will possibly be live broadcast in the future?
Yes. So we're looking to have by next season, we want to have that something in place that the games are streaming. But right now we're streaming at least once a game a week on our YouTube channel, BFA YouTube channel. We have been streaming either a Premier Division match or a First Division match each weekend, and then we release highlights of that match on the Monday.
Okay. Michelle White's asking, she's got two questions. One, does women's football still exist? Two, will the opportunity for live broadcasting include women's football?
Yes, there is a all girls league. They have currently youth leagues for girls. So that's, I think it's under 7, under 9, under 11, under 17s.
Mhm.
And that's the age it stops right now. But any further questions on that would have to be with the women's committee. That would be Sharice Bean.
Yeah, and that's good to hear because women's football right now is on a boom.
Hmm.
A good bit of the young ladies that are training and coming through, so it's good to see that we're gonna tracked to that under 17, 18 age.
Hmm.
Got some questions coming in as well. In the UK, they aren't allowed to show live games in the household region. Why do you think showing live games will be helpful to the clubs instead of hindering them by giving more people the option to stay home, resulting in lower gate receipts?
So we had discussions like this with the clubs. Um, we don't think that the game being available on um, stream or on TV will hinder the numbers,
Mhm,
as there's still that product of going to a match live.
mhm.
There's still going to the match live, just like I'm not saying we're the Premier League in England, but those ticket sales are still selling out because going to the match, there's still that excitement about it.
Right. Okay. Another question come through. What's the cost associated with streaming games? Revenues will certainly be eaten up by cost, don't you think?
Sorry, say that again.
Says, what's the cost associated with streaming games? Revenues will certainly be eaten up by cost, don't you think?
Yeah, so cost per match, we have been doing calculations, but the different revenues coming from that would be um, to go against those costs would be sponsorship deals and
Mhm.
advertising deals as well. So um, that once the product is up and running, and all of that's in place, then it would definitely be a revenue stream.
Mhm. And this is not on you to answer, but what I've noticed, and this is no disrespect to those who are currently performing in Bermuda's Premier Football League, but
Hmm.
it's definitely changed. And a comment on the Royal Gazette where I initially read about this actually said, and I'm sure you saw it, is they question whether there's actually interest, that level of interest in local football for them
Hmm.
to actually stream. Do you feel the interest is there? Like, I mean, again, comparing it to back in the 90s and the 80s is probably just unfair because there's a lot that has changed. There's more options for people today. So I think it's an unfair comparison. But is the interest there, you believe, to even take on this cost that's going to be attributed, even though you may generate money through sponsorship?
Yes, definitely. Especially now, with like limited numbers and the COVID-19. But the numbers that we've been seeing right now, currently on our YouTube streams, those numbers are getting higher and higher every day, every stream we do. So we're seeing an increase. So once that keeps going and people understand that there's a stream or football match is going to be on this weekend, then yeah, that those numbers are going to keep increasing and people's going to you know, watch football.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I think if the options there, people will.
Yeah.
But let me check this out. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Whether it's you got it on in the bathroom while you're doing something, or the options there. I know one of the things where I think the numbers did decline was a lot of the social ills was carried over to football, say 10, 15 years ago. And I think with with technology being there, hopeful that it becomes a deterrent also for those types of things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to go back to something Larry asked about. We are living in a time where I don't have actual data, but I'm pretty sure many would agree, based on news, that we probably have more young footballers or athletes overall in different schools, be it academies, in different what they're called academies in Europe, um,
Perhaps.
in prep schools, and so what does this opportunity, like, do you feel like this is an opportunity for you mentioned youth football, and though some people may say, oh, this seems exploitive, like, it seems like a great opportunity for young people to have something to look, because I was talking to someone last summer and they were like, yeah, we're trying to create a video for our son to send to colleges for what they're called scholarships for scholarships. And so they were trying to find ways to do it. I think this could be a great opportunity for young people, especially Bermuda, because back in the day, remember, back in the day, coaches and scouts used to come and look at you, right? I'm pretty sure it's changed. I'm not saying they don't come anymore, but if they see video of you, we're in that time. But can you like speak to that a bit of how much this is going to help young people overall?
Yes, yes, for sure. So, having that video archive, of youth playing and for example, we had we just recently streamed the Appleby Youth Finals, under 13, under 15, under 17, and that displayed, some fantastic youth football, yeah, and even scouts were watching those matches. And so it does allow exposure for young Bermudian players.
Indeed. We've got a couple of comments. Aaron T. Lugo says, not being able to make it out to matches for whatever reason, watching the streams have been great. I look forward to the growth of the platform. And then Renee Shallon Simmons says, the interest is there. I just don't attend games because of this disturbance at times. Football is rooted in my family, so I will definitely be watching. I think people have been calling for it for a long time. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but I'm encouraged to see how this goes. I'm encouraged to see the growth of local football. And, I always looked at local football differently from most people. I looked at it as young people looking at local football as a way out. And I'm going to use Larry as an example. He may disagree with me, but running kind of helped him with his education, right? And when I say a way out doesn't mean you're in a bad situation. It really just means you're looking for a way to give yourself a better opportunity at better cost. And I think what you're doing could really present an opportunity that has been missing for so many for so long. Not everyone has the resources to have someone recording a game or whatnot. Not everyone is going to be in a position to perform great when there's a coach present, right? So being able to have highlights of you when you're at your best is critical and crucial. So props to the BFA. I really do hope that it works out, and please keep us tuned as to when this actually someone's chosen and how it's going to look. Right now, I think it is a good thing that you guys have got it going on the stream. I have watched one game. I was not happy with the result. Being a Noah Village fan is hard these days. I was not happy with the result. The one game I did watch the entire game. It was a 1-0, and I think it was Somerset Eagles beat us at pretty much the end. Yeah, right. But it's a wonderful thing to have, and not only for Bermudians, but there are a lot of Bermudians outside of the island who can remain connected. There are Bermudians outside the island in spaces that can help Bermudians that they see. Oh, that guy is young and talented. Let me call this club and find out more about him. Let me check his age. Let me get some information. This is great, man. So props to you. And I hope that people appreciate what's being done and they engage with it.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, Ajani Tucker, Bermuda Football Association. Thanks again, and all the best.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. If you appreciated that conversation with Ajani, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this kind of information as well, because Bermudians, Bermudians have been crying for this kind of stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to see things like the marathon weekend. They didn't have it in January, did they?
No, they haven't had the last 2 years.
Yeah, but something like that, I've been wanting to be on streaming as well. Cop match, a lot of people don't remember, but it wasn't until Glenn Blakeney in 2007, I believe, or 6, one of those years, where it was an all day televised affair. Now it's streamed. So, all it takes is some innovation, someone who has a vision to really come along and say, you know what, we can do this much more. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, wrap it up, and send you on your weekend. But folks, I'm going to tell you about the latest giveaway as well when we get back. It's the easiest giveaway. I know I said we'll give away the prize for the first giveaway, but we're going to wait until next week to give away the January prize. So stick with us. Don't go anywhere. And I'll tell you what this month's giveaway is in a few.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Ajani Tucker. Thanks again to the Bermuda Football Association for trusting our platform. And thanks again to People's Pharmacy Medical House, One Communications, and Lenders for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a regular basis. Look, thoughts on today's episode, Larry?
Very good.
Sound very low. You're very low.
Sorry, you can. I thought that it's important to have these conversations with regard to the hiring practices and different rules, and I think eventually we're going to get it going. I can't wait to see what happens with the BFA. It's needed. We have to step up to the times, and we just can't find reasons why it can't happen, and need to make it happen.
Yeah, indeed. I on both parts, I would say this, as far as the affirmative action and things like the Rooney Rule, I truly believe that we need to change our mindset and have the will and the courage to create our own when we're not happy in other spaces that we may not feel wanted. As far as the Bermuda Football Association, I think this is a step in the right direction. I really think it comes down to execution, and I really hope that it can be executed in a manner that is beneficial. I'm just looking for my cards here, which I can't find. Here we are, because we're going to play the feud. We're going to play the feud. So, folks, if you guessed before Larry, we're just going to give you something. All right. So here we go. Now, keep in mind, you're a newlywed, so you've got to answer these questions correctly without offending. First question, folks. First question. Name someone who might know more about a man than his own wife.
Mother.
Oh, yeah, that's number one. So parent number 1, 2, his best friend, 3, his mistress, 4, his sibling, 5, his dog, and 6, his doctor. All right. Next one. Name something kids are told to take turns using.
Toys.
That's number 1. Bathroom was number 2. 3 was phone.
Tell Sherry, take notes.
Sherry, you heard him. 4 was bikes, and 5 was swing. All right. Final one. All right. Name something sloppy people spill drinks all over.
People
is the last answer one here. It's 5. Number 1, folks. Name something sloppy people spill drinks all over.
Furniture.
That would be number 4. You're working your way up. Someone said table, and that would be where furniture is. People saying carpet, that is number 3. Someone pretty much said it. Sure. Close is the answer.
What that? But hey.
Close is the answer. Just don't spill red wine when you're closed, folks. Don't do it. I don't advise that at all.
Yeah.
Larry, we've got to check out, but let me just give some daily inspiration before we head out today. Quote, life has 2 rules. Number 1, never quit. Number 2, always remember rule number 1. Duke Ellington. Mm-hmm. Folks, it's been a great week. Don't forget. So I'm going to tell you about this month's giveaway. Just go to our website, thedailyhour.com, and see how easy it is to be eligible to win this month's $500 prize. All right. Go to our website, check it out, And Sherry is yeah, she's coming for you, bro. She heard that. She heard that. She heard that. I'll leave you two to fight it out. It's been a pleasure having you back here. It's been a while. First time this year.
Yep, good to be back.
Yeah, for sure. But we've got to run. So, folks, thanks again. It has been a pleasure. And I just want to say before we head out, again, sending nothing on behalf of the Daily Hour community, love, strength, peace, and comfort to Shawnette Bell. She's been a day one supporter. And trust me, we are here for you as a show, as a community, and as a group of decent citizens of Bermuda. Thanks again to our partners, Medical Hours One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. My friends, we're not going to be back again tomorrow. We'll be back again on Monday. Make it a safe and great weekend. We're out. Peace.
Peace.